ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of In Need of Attention. I'm your host today, Jairus Matthew Copeland. This podcast is a safe space. In this podcast, we believe that there is more for people, that better is available to them, and we are stubborn in our belief that there's more perspective to gain. Today, I've got my phone here. I'm cheating. I got a couple notes, all on this subject. Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans. Not just the amazing movie that raised us all the right way, but remember the Titans we've faced in our lives. The human being, the human mind, doesn't remember very well. We are a fickle race of persons. We remember primarily the negative, the bad. We forget the good. And we remember the hard, but we don't always remember that we got through it. And so today's episode is Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans you faced and the hard things you've gotten through. Like I said, my name is Jairus Matthew Copeland. And when I was a kid, I was obsessed with football. My dad was a football coach. I thought I was going to be in the NFL. Now I'm here in my house with no shoes on and my socks talking to you, but I got a shirt, so we still got service. And Remember the Titans, the movie, was like, to me, I was like, how did this not win like every award there is? Like, it's the best story of not just this intersection of race, football, interpersonal, like meaning, healing, family coming together, but it's just like why you love being a part of a team, the camaraderie, the teamwork, the friendship, the love, the locker room. It's something I've experienced my entire life and is one of the main things I miss as an adult, not being a part of, organized sports or sporting teams and leagues now, is just what it meant to be alongside other people who vary in skill, vary in experience, but no matter what you have in common is we have the same goal. We want to win. We want to accomplish this. We want to see this task through, win, lose, and we hate the idea of a draw. Right? Being on a team. I think about some of my favorite teammates, right? This is so off the cuff, so please stick with me. I think of Davi Laney, Summit Country Day, 4th grade. We were best friends. Two of the only minorities in the entire school. If by the grace of God, you hear this, I love you, man. I look fondly on those times. Jeremiah, Julian, Roe, some of my best friends to this day. The laughs, the experiences, the relationships that were built and formed in all of those years were so worth it. Frank Brown, Tony Mitchell, Parker, Big Park, Nate Smith. I'm totally leaving so many people out that I just value so much. That by playing football, running track, doing what it was the central experiences that shaped me as a man now. And that's what the movie's about, is it's this move of transformation, how this small town, this racist town, could come together around the high school team being like undefeated, right? Like they're like racist, and then they're like, oh, the high school team's like 9-0. Those are my brothers, right? It's the Shane Gillis whole thing of how it wasn't that the South was so progressive and we have to put a stop to it. It was like, no, it was football. It was totally football, 100%. And when we look in our lives, it might not be racism. And if it is, you should definitely figure that out. I'm happy to help. But we face these titans, right? Like these big things in our way. We face these big moments, these big things that are holding us back. They've held our family back. Some call them generational. There's these things that are a roadblock and we have gotten to an impasse. We've gotten to a point in our lives that the only way is through. The only way to get past this Titan is to go through it. And now we find ourselves on the other side, beaten, bruised, battered, having claimed and conquered the Titan. And so today, I got my notes here. I'm going to walk us through how to remember the Titans. So the first thing is this. Remember the Titans. Don't forget what you've been through. Don't forget what happened, right? We go through these situations, whether it be family, relational, professional, where, there's conflict, where there's tension, there's pressure, all these words I love to use in every single episode. And we very commonly remember the issue. We very rarely remember the resolve. And if you're going to remember the Titan, remember it fully. Don't just remember it for the big, bad indifference that it was. Don't remember it just for the glory that I got through it. Don't remember it just as, well, that's the thing that changed me. Remember it for what it is. A Titan. A Titan. The second part, they all start with R, I'm pretty sure at least. The second one is, after you remember the Titan, reflect the Titan. Reflect it. So how do you, on the end of being through something hard, traumatic, larger than life, how do you reflect that experience in your everyday life? I like to say, don't let things define you, let them refine you. The idea that these Titans refine us. These moments, these cataclysmic events that in our experience in life, in my lane, I'm the main character, completely change the landscape and fundamentally shatter what I've known to be reality. They have completely and utterly dismissed everything I found to be true, gotten rid of everything I desired to be the case, and have Thanos cut in half, smashed my reality as I know it, and everything is different because of it. I'm now meant to move forward as a normal human being who also helps and gives back to the society we live in and pays taxes. How am I meant to reflect something that big on a day-to-day basis? And at the end of the day, when you go through something that big, that traumatic, it takes time. It takes time to reflect it and to allow it to shape you and mold you for the positive, right? The initial ramifications of going toe to toe with a Titan is destruction. Is mining through the rubble and seeing, well, what's even left? Do I have a shred of confidence left? Do I have a shred of dignity left after that? Is who I believe I am, has that been confirmed by the devastation of this? Are the lies I believe in my heart and internally been validated by the experience I had? Or do I just have a shred of hope left at all? You take inventory of, well, what do we have? What's left? Who's here? What's the survivor count? What's left after this? And once you take that inventory, you just got to start to rebuild, repave, return back to the ground level. I think about it in my life when I left my job at Crossroads. It felt like I had a whole city representing my life just completely leveled. And I had to rebuild from the ground up, not just what am I going to do for a living, but for me, what does this say about me? And am I okay with the perception of that? And whether I am or not, is that going to stop me? And as I got to a healthier and healthier place and attachment to my faith, to my career, to my relationships, to my friendships, I got to a place where I wasn't just able to get past those things and past my fear of perception, but I was able to get to a point where I could start building again. I could start building my coaching business. I could start building my consulting business. I could start building my podcast, not out of a place of worry and what are they going to think or what are people going to say or how do I look, but building it out of a place of I think I can actually help people get better. And not only do I think this for myself, but I think there's actually more for others too. And the experiences I have, the things I've learned, I think can help other people just have that added perspective that might be enough to change the path they're on. That is reflecting the Titan I faced. I faced many Titans in my life. I was born deaf in my right ear. So I was born that way. My mother was in a car accident when she was pregnant with me. And initially they thought she had lost me, that I had passed away in the accident. And there's been some theories on the back end of that of, maybe I had a twin sibling that unfortunately passed away, and that's kind of what masked and hid me in the ultrasounds, and also too maybe that impact, right? That blood, that loss, all of that kind of being flushed from her system is what caused me not to develop fully on my right side in terms of my hearing. I've got all the parts, they just don't work, right? And so there's a lot that went into that, and that being the foundation of then my mother and father's attachment to me being born of this miracle child, I was bound to experience and face more challenge. From that point, I had several things in my family of, facing being disowned by my mother's side of the family and it being tied to racism, ironically. And not just like, oh, we don't support that, but then like when me and my siblings are here, like we exist, we have personality, making the choice that, well, for me, it would be better to have this outcome. So because of that, I'm going to, turn my back on a child. And having to face and accept and learn that, people who claim to love you love themselves more. That was a Titan for me. It was really hard to get over. I think about academically, I had a very low high school GPA. I remember a teacher that I was friendly with communicated that to a bunch of my classmates and stuff when I wasn't around and showed them like, oh, he's in like the bottom 10 of your guys' class. Like the fact that he's going to graduate is like a miracle. And that wrecked me. It stripped me of confidence and it made me feel exposed. Because sure, I was just getting by, but at least I had the covering of, well, it's Walnut Hills, it's this great school, and all these other things. It was something that felt very exposing to me. It felt like internally a Titan I had to surpass and get over. My senior year, I'm a football player, a player's kid, or a coach's kid, and I played quarterback. And my football coaches, to save their jobs, changed their offensive system to one that didn't suit my play style. And I'd been academically ineligible the year before, so this was really my only chance to get to play somewhere. And not only did that style of offense not suit me, but then from there, I didn't play quarterback. I played wide receiver because someone else won the quarterback battle, which in hindsight was a blessing in disguise. But in the moment, I wept because that's who I was. I was a quarterback. And I was finally getting my opportunity to shine and prove myself. I didn't even get it. And so these compounding narratives and tales felt like things that defined me for a long time. From there, my football season, I would get mail from colleges. I even had some people come to watch me play, and my coach never told me. Not only did he never tell me, never got the ball those games playing wide receiver. 0 targets, 0 catches. I was our leading receiver. And when I found those things out, it was devastating to me. It felt like a sense of betrayal. And whether it was justified because I didn't have the grades, it felt like there's nothing I can do to ever get ahead. What do I have here? And the disposition I had at 18 years old felt like I had been defined before I even got a say. And for the person who feels defined without even getting a say, you do get a say. You get a say of whether all those things that have happened to you define you, or if all those things can refine you and shape the person you are. And the way you reflect the titans you face is you choose to let them refine you. You choose to let them shape you and mold you into a person who is whole again, who isn't giving up pieces of themselves to advance and achieve, but is reclaiming those parts, those things they've lost and given out, so that they can then be fully themselves and reflect truly who they are, which has been shaped by the titans you faced. Reflect the titans. The next one is don't revel in the titans. Don't revel in the titans. What does that mean? Don't be a victim to the hard things you've been through. I heard Erwin McManus say it this way. Someone with only positive internal beliefs is a narcissist. But someone with only negative internal beliefs is a victim. And if what you believe about yourself internally, what you have found to be true about who you are, what you do in your entire life, is only shaped by the negative experiences you have, that's when you become a victim. And I want to differentiate even from there. There's the victim who had something done to them. And then there's someone who claims to be a victim and that they only accept negativity because that's what they're comfortable with. If you are genuinely a victim to a crime, to an abuse, to an experience that not only you didn't ask for but was pushed upon you, one, I'm so very sorry. I am devastated that that happened to you. And if I or anyone I know can be a resource to you, let me know. Seek the necessary help, whether that be law enforcement, whether that be trained professional in the form of therapy or pastors or people who are licensed to help with that sort of thing. That's not something to be taken lightly or viewed as less than. It's something to be treated very seriously. And for the person who only has negative experience, and so because of that, they choose to stay in the place of viewing themselves as a victim and feeling like things are only negative and all this stuff, and they dwell on the titans that they faced, move on. Just move on. There's no sense in reveling in it. There's no sense in staying in a place that hurts you and resenting it because they're not thinking about you, right? Like that's half the part of like people, like you resenting people, is the people you resent probably aren't even thinking about you, like even a little bit, like maybe here and there, but it's not in the way you think, right? Like they're living their life. We're fickle. We're selfish. We forget. They're not thinking about it. And you should do the things necessary to move on from it, not to think about it. Don't revel in the titans. The other side of reveling is being so focused on overcoming. I'm just an overcomer. Great. What's next? Someone who stays in this place of, I need to topple institutions and I need to tear down these structures that are built to hold people down because they held me down and whatever. 100%. There are absolutely things in this country, in this world, that are harmful institutions, that are things that oppress people, hold them in positions that are not just disadvantageous, but are inhumane, are not just, are institutions that just further the cycles of hatred, of ignorance, of misinformation, right? It's the most misinformed time of all time. And while we need individuals who are willing to fight and individuals who will stand on the front lines, if that's all you can reflect, I don't think you learned what you were supposed to learn from that Titan. Because it's not to topple institutions and tear things down for the purpose of revolution. The purpose is to fight against injustice for the person next to you, for the hope that it hurt me, but it won't hurt them. And if it's about you and not them, you're not starting a revolution. You're reveling in the inner glory and validation it gives you to feel like you got closure, even if it was against the will of the other party. You don't need to revel in the Titans. At the end of the day, I'll come to a close. Where am I on time? I'm doing really good. This is good. I'm getting better at this in terms of time. At the end of the day, we talked about remembering the Titans. We talked about reflecting the Titans. And we talked about don't revel in the Titans. And what I want to close with, what I want to leave people with, is this. Every person you pass on the street, you interface with, you choose to have a relationship with, has Titans that are worth remembering. And as we are responding to the ways they talk to us and treat us, as we are responding to the ways they live their lives and affect those around them, have just a little bit of compassion. Because for me, I found myself in a spot just going like, yeah, they did that. Yeah, they did this, but I mean, I kind of get it. Like, I kind of get why they find themselves here. Because I found myself there. I found myself desperate. I found myself in a pit, scratching and clawing to get out. And I found myself looking at my past going, I think that's all I'm ever going to do and accomplish. And if that's so, well then, I better not forget it. And someone who needs to hold on to the Titans, someone who needs to remember the Titans in this way that, it's almost a shrine to their former life or achievements and whatever. Have confidence that you'll have another hit. Right? It's this idea that like, whether it's music and my field of content and writing, like, oh, I can't share this idea. I can't share this song because what if they steal it? What if they ask for it and I give it to them and it's way more successful? I've just gotten to the point where sure, they can have it. I know I'll have another hit. In your life, you're going to have another Titan. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when the Titans come, I want you to be prepared. If you're stuck in the past, if you're in a position where you didn't learn from the previous fight, where you didn't learn how to get past it, when you're reveling in the glory or the victimhood of the previous Titan, you're going to get crushed. And everywhere you go, you're going to tell everyone who it was, what it was, everything. And when they hear it was a Titan, they're going to go, yeah, they got me too. Yeah, I had that happen too. And you're going to find yourself in a position where, oh, if I only knew, if I had only reflected. And you have the opportunity. You have the chance to prepare for the next Titan, overcome it, and then remember it for what it was meant to be. Scabs and wounds are open and viable to be infected. Scars are really cool stories. I want you, as you remember the Titans in your life, to have a lot of really cool stories. I don't want, as you remember the Titans in your life, to be reopening wounds. That's been this week on In Need of Attention. My name is Jairus Matthew Copeland. My voice is cracking. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening.